Incredible twist, single black dad saves CEO from elevator. Days later she reveals touching truth. Jamal's heart raced as the elevator doors shuttered, threatening to malfunction. His instincts kicked in, and he saw the beautiful yet intimidating woman trapped inside. It was like a scene straight out of a movie, his life flashing before his eyes, realizing he had a chance to be a hero. Without a second thought, he lunged into the elevator just as the lights flickered. A heavy thud echoed, and he rushed toward her. "Hold on. I got you," he yelled, adrenaline pumping. Maya, the powerful CEO, was painted in fear and surprise. Little did Jamal know that this moment would turn their worlds upside down. Every morning, before the sun kissed the sky, Jamal would wake up. The smell of burnt toast and coffee wafted through their modest apartment as he prepared breakfast for his 10-year-old son, Amir. Jamal made sure Amir understood the values of hard work and integrity, something he clung to fiercely, despite their financial struggles. After dropping Amir off at school, Jamal would take to the streets, Ubering through the busy downtown. Most days were the same, the sound of tires on wet pavement, cheesy radio ads drifting in and out, and passengers staring at their phones, lost in their own worlds. But that day was different. After saving Maya, Jamal was approached by her, still shaken yet grateful. "You saved my life," she whispered, eyes wide with sincerity. As she recuperated over the next week, Jamal found himself sharing pieces of his life, sharing his struggles as a single father, the hurdles of making ends meet. Then, the invitation arrived in the mail, extending to Jamal and Amir for a charity event. "This could be good for you, Jamal." "An opportunity," Maya urged. But when he shared the news with his friends, their reactions were immediate and icy. "Why would you want to hang out with the elite?" they questioned, their concern thick in the air. "You're gonna be that guy." Jamal felt the strain of loyalty to his community pulling at his heart. On the night of the event, Amir held tightly onto his dad's hand, confusion swirling in his bright eyes. Surrounded by splendor, sparkling chandeliers, fashionable suits, and wealth, he felt small, a lone lily among roses. "Dad, do we really belong here?" he whispered, doubt tinging his voice. Jamal, caught between his dreams for a better life and the pressures of his roots, felt his chest tighten. As the night wore on, tensions built. Misunderstood intentions and unspoken words hung between them like storm clouds ready to burst. Then, a surprising calm washed over the room when Maya bravely shared her own story. "I didn't grow up in privilege," she confessed, her voice trembling. "I lost my father to injustice. Every success, it feels like I'm chasing a ghost." Silence filled the space as Jamal and Amir took in her words. Just when it seemed they might mend the fractured connections, an unexpected revelation flared, a shared past of loss and resilience. Would this truth redefine their bond, or fracture it further? In that moment, they stood at a crossroads, the weight of society's barriers pressing down, both scared yet yearning to break through. What would it mean for them to find common ground amidst such profound differences? The night felt electric, every heartbeat echoing with possibilities. Maya glanced around the room, her vulnerability hanging in the air like a thick fog. People exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of surprise and understanding. Jamal could feel the weight of his own history pressing against his chest. He had always been proud of where he came from, but tonight, amid the glitz and glamour, he couldn't shake off the feeling of being an outsider. "Thank you for sharing that," he finally managed, catching Maya's eye. "More people need to hear stories like yours." There was an unexpected solidarity in his voice, a bond forming in that moment. Amir squeezed his father's hand tighter, his small face reflecting both admiration and confusion. As the evening continued, Jamal and Maya found themselves stepping away from the crowd. "You really saved me that day," she said softly, her eyes looking deep into his. "I've been so caught up in this world, I forgot my roots." Jamal's heart started to soften. This powerful woman, this CEO who was a beacon of success, struggled just like him in her own way. "Saving you felt like, I don't know, like a chance for me," Jamal ventured, a hint of vulnerability in his voice. "I want to do more, to provide more for Amir. But I feel pulled in all directions. Maya nodded, understanding flickering behind her gaze. I get it. You want to be there for your son, just like I wanted to be there for mine, she reflected, her words a painful reminder of their shared loss. It was a moment that connected them beyond their circumstances, a silent agreement that they both understood the weight of expectations and grief. The evening rolled on, and as the first donations were announced and pledges were made, Jamal found himself pledging for the cause more confidently. The laughter among the crowd caught his attention, bright and untainted by worries. Amir looked around, his eyes wide. Dad, can we help them too? That innocent question tugged at Jamal's heartstrings. Of course, buddy. That's what we're here for, he smiled, ruffling Amir's hair. It was a moment of clarity, the pure-hearted enthusiasm of his son grounding him amid the chaos, but as the night wore on, Jamal couldn't shake the quiet whispers that echoed through his mind from his friends back home. Were they right? Was he losing his touch with his roots? The very people who raised him, who shared his struggles, were they watching him from the sidelines, shaking their heads in disappointment? As they prepared to leave, Maya placed her hand on Jamal's shoulder, her eyes glinting like starlight. Jamal, you don't have to choose between two worlds. You can bridge them. Her words hung between them, heavy with possibility. Amir smiled up at both of them, innocent and full of hope. Can we come to the next one together? He asked, and that simple request felt like a promise to connect, to share, and to challenge the narratives that kept them apart. As they stepped outside, the cool night air hit them, wrapping around them like a rejuvenating embrace. But the worries still lingered. Jamal kept scanning the faces in the crowd as if searching for someone. In that instant, he felt the drop in his stomach as his phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Jamal, we need to talk. It's about Maya. The chill ran through him as he looked at Maya, so strong yet so fragile. What did this mean? What truth was waiting to be uncovered, and how would it shape everything they had just built? Jamal's heart raced. He stared at the glowing screen of his phone, the message pulsating with urgency. The weight of the unknown pressed on him tightly. His gaze flickered to Maya, who was now lost in her own world, her breath visible in the crisp night air. Did she even know that shadows swirled around her? Hey, Dad, are we going? Amir tugged at his sleeve, his innocent curiosity breaking through the tension. Yeah, buddy. Just a second, Jamal managed to reply. He felt like he was caught between two turbulent seas, the past and the promise of something new. Maya turned at the sound of Amir's voice, her face brightening. You ready, little man? She asked, but there was an undercurrent of worry in her smile. Yeah. Can we get ice cream? Amir chirped, oblivious to the tension wrapping around Jamal like a fog. The simple joy of his son was a reminder of what truly mattered. But Jamal couldn't shake off the knot in his stomach. Sweetie, he said gently, let us hold off on that for just a moment. He glanced quickly at Maya and then back at his phone. Should he share the message? Would it burden her? Is everything all right? Maya asked, her voice suddenly serious. The concern softened her features, making her look both commanding and vulnerable. Just got a text, he replied, his voice raw. From someone I don't know. It's about you. Maya's brow furrowed. About me? Who? What does it say? I don't know, he confessed, biting his lip. Something feels off. Jamal, she said, taking a step closer, the distance between them shrinking. You have to tell me everything. If it's about me, then it's about us. Her insistence seemed to stir something deep inside him, a protective instinct. Though they had known each other for only a short time, it felt like they had weathered storms together. I don't want to add to your burdens, he said softly, scraping a hand over his stubble. Maya's eyes held his for what felt like eternity. You're not adding to anything. You're including me. We're in this together, remember? His heart swelled, but it was quickly tangled with fear. What kind of truth could come from that message? Let us go somewhere private, he said impulsively, just for a few minutes. Amir, can you wait at the car for a minute? Okay, Dad. I'll have my ice cream ready for you both. Amir dashed off, already launching into a daydream of sugary sweetness. They slipped away from the parking lot, towards a nearby park that lay dimly lit by street lamps. The gentle rustling of leaves above mirrored the turmoil swirling inside Jamal's chest. Once they reached a quiet spot, he drew a breath, gathering his thoughts. It said we need to talk. I don't know what it means, but I've got this feeling that it's not good. Maya's expression transformed as he spoke. What if they're trying to bring up the past? Something you or I thought was buried? Yeah, and whatever it is could change everything, he admitted, a chill running down his spine. Then we face it together, she declared, her voice steady, fierce. I won't let anyone dictate our story. Jamal looked deeply into her eyes. He wondered what she truly knew about her own past and if it was intertwined with his in ways he couldn't even fathom. What was the truth that loomed like a storm threatening to break? Before he could speak, her phone buzzed. Sorry, she said, checking it quickly, her expression shifting oddly. It's another message I have to read this. Are you okay? Jamal asked, unable to hide his concern. Maya didn't answer immediately, her face contorting as she processed the words. Then, she whispered, No, this can't be happening. His heart sank. What is it? Jamal, it's about my brother. Dread twisted his gut. He took a step closer, ready to hold her. What about him? Maya's voice was barely audible as she took a steadying breath. He's been looking for you. Jamal's pulse quickened. The world around them dimmed as his mind raced. How were they connected? What did all this mean? The weight of Maya's words hung thick in the air, a cold shiver chasing down Jamal's spine. His mind raced as he tried to piece together the fragments. Looking for me? Why would he be looking for me? The question escaped him, laden with disbelief and a creeping sense of dread. Maya clutched her phone like a lifeline, her knuckles pale. He wants to know about you, about our family. It must be about what happened, before. The words trembled as they left her lips, her eyes searched his for an anchor amidst the rising tide of uncertainty. Panic rippled through Jamal. What happened before? What are you talking about? Maya took a deep breath, her composure cracking. He doesn't have all the details. I thought it was over. She met his gaze, and his heart ached at the fear etched on her face. Whatever it is, we'll sort it out, he promised, though the conviction in his voice faltered at the thought of what her brother might want. What secrets lay hidden in her past? How did it intertwine with his? Each possibility felt heavier than the last. Just then, Amir's cheerful laughter floated from the parking lot, a jarring contrast to the brewing storm. Jamal felt the tug of fatherhood, a reminder of what mattered, his son. Let us talk about this in the morning. We need some time to think. Maya nodded, though her brow didn't relax. You're right. It's just I don't know what he wants, Jamal. She hesitated, the weight of her concern wrapping around them both. What if what if things are different now? The thought sliced through him. Different how? He asked softly. She bit her lip, trying to sort through her thoughts. What if he's been searching for answers I don't want to face? What if it changes everything? Jamal reached out, gently placing a hand on her arm. Maya, we can't let the past steal our future. Whatever it is, we handle it together. Right? The way she looked at him first, with gratitude and a flicker of hope, made his heart swell. But dread lurked in the shadows, always nipping at their heels. You're right, I know you are. But it feels like a ghost. Always haunting me when I try to move forward, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. As they moved back toward the parking lot, their footsteps echoed in the silence. Jamal couldn't shake the unease growing inside him. Whatever it is, what do you need from me? Just say the word. She smiled, though it didn't quite reach her eyes. I need you to promise that you won't leave, no matter what happens. Promise, he replied, though uncertainty threaded through the assurance. When they reached the car, Amir was already seated, barely concealing his impatience. Are we going? He asked, eyes wide with excitement. Yeah, buddy. Jamal plastered on a smile, needing to anchor himself in the joy that his son radiated. Just had a quick talk. All right. Ice cream ahead. Amir cheered, and for a moment, the weight of the world seemed to lift. While they drove through the quiet streets, Jamal felt the tension crackling beneath the surface. Each mile felt like a countdown to an unknown reckoning. Would her brother bring closure or chaos? When they finally reached home, Maya turned to him, her voice steady. We're not done talking about this. I know, Jamal replied, the acknowledgement hanging heavily between them. We'll figure this out together. As she climbed out of the car, Jamal's heart raced again. Something told him this was just the beginning, a tipping point leading them to uncharted waters. And as he watched Maya walk toward the house, a shiver of anticipation crawled up his spine. What would tomorrow unveil? Would they be ready for the truth waiting just around the corner? Maya closed the door behind her, the soft click echoing in Jamal's ears. He stood frozen for a moment, his eyes on the darkened windows of their home. Amir's chatter filled the silence. The innocent laughter of his son was a delightful reprieve, yet it couldn't drown out the gnawing anxiety pooling in his gut. With a deep breath, he turned to Amir. You ready for some ice cream, buddy? Yeah. Amir jumped out of the car, his energy infectious. Jamal followed him inside, where the scent of dinner lingered. The evening felt strangely normal, but in the back of his mind, shadows fluttered around the unspoken truths waiting to disrupt their lives. As they scooped ice cream into bowls, Amir's excitement spilled over. Can I have sprinkles? Of course. Jamal replied, smiling. It was easy to get lost in these small moments. Laughter bubbled between them, and for a while, everything felt okay. But the undercurrents of worry tugged at him. After the ice cream was devoured, Amir darted into the living room, clicking on the TV to drown out the world. Jamal took a seat on the couch, contemplating everything Maya had shared. What kind of man would come looking for her? What history was entwined with their lives? His phone buzzed on the coffee table, cutting through his thoughts. Glancing down, he saw Maya's text. Can we talk? I'm worried. His heart raced again. He quickly typed back, of course. Where? Backyard. I need some air. With a nod, he stood and made his way outside. The night was cool, a soothing balm against his racing heart. He found Maya sitting on the swing, her silhouette framed by the stars above. She looked small, lost in thought. Hey, he said, settling beside her. Hey. Her voice was barely above a whisper, the weight of her worry hanging thick. Talk to me, he urged gently. What is going on in your head? Maya sighed, pushing her feet against the ground to swing gently. I keep thinking, what if he knows about everything? What if he wants revenge or something worse? Jamal's protective instincts surged. We can't think like that. We don't know what his intentions are. I know, but he's my brother. When we were younger, things got really bad. I thought we could leave it behind us. What do you mean? Jamal asked, the urgency in his voice rising. She hesitated, looking up toward the heavens as if searching for the right words. We had a lot of fights. I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes I felt like he was a different person. Then, I left, and I thought Maya, he interrupted softly, you're not that person anymore. You're stronger than you think. But what if he doesn't see that? What if he wants me to be that scared girl again? Her voice wobbled, and it broke Jamal's heart that he took her hand. You're not alone in this. Whatever the past holds, I'm with you. We face it together. Tears shimmered in her eyes, and for a moment, Jamal feared an old wound was about to open wide. She started, but her voice trailed off. I don't want Amir to get caught up in any of this. Jamal squeezed her hand, grounding them both. We'll protect him. Whatever it takes. But we need to confront this. We can't run forever. As Maya turned to meet his gaze, an unspoken understanding passed between them. It was a battle against their past, but more importantly, a fight for the future they wanted. Just then, a shadow moved in the corner of the yard. Jamal's breath caught in his throat. Did you see that? Before they could react, someone stepped into the light, and the air grew thick with tension. It was Maya's brother, standing there, uncertainty written all over his face. May I come in? He asked, voice steady yet cautious, leaving Jamal questioning everything he thought he knew. Maya's breath hitched as she stared at her brother, shock painting her features. It felt surreal, watching someone she thought she'd escaped from come back into her life, especially now. The swing creaked in the stillness, a sound that seemed to echo around their small world. Derek, she finally managed, struggling to keep her voice steady. What are you doing here? Amir's laughter faded from the living room, the sound now replaced with an unsettling quiet. Jamal shifted uncomfortably beside Maya, the weight of his presence suddenly feeling insufficient in the shadow of her brother. I need to talk to you, Derek said, hands shoved deep into the pockets of his jacket, his gaze flickering between Maya and Jamal. It's important. Maya exchanged a look with Jamal, uncertainty swirling in her chest. He squeezed her hand, a silent show of solidarity that nudged her forward. Slowly, she nodded. Okay. Talk. Derek took a step closer, hesitating as if grappling with where to begin. I heard about what has been going on with everything. It didn't sit right with me to just stay away. I'm here to what? Offer an excuse. Maya interrupted, the tension in her muscles hardening. You think you can just stroll back into my life after everything? Maya, please, Derek replied, raising his hands in defense. I'm not looking for an argument. I've changed. I want to help. The genuine plea in his voice caught Jamal off guard. Help? She echoed, doubt lacing her tone. After everything you've done? Amir's head peeked around the corner. Who is that? He asked, curious but cautious. The innocence in his voice reminded Jamal of the urgency of their situation. Derek's expression softened as he caught sight of Amir. I'm Derek, your uncle. Can I come in and meet you properly? No. Maya shot back, panic coursing through her. You can't just waltz into our lives like this. I wouldn't do anything to hurt you or Amir, Derek insisted, voice low, the weight of desperation in his eyes. I've been trying to turn my life around. I want to make things right. Maya looked closely at her brother, searching for any hint of the person she feared, the one who had left lasting scars on her childhood. The bond they once shared felt complicated, twisted by the past. Right? How? By pretending to care? No, Maya. By being real. By being the brother you needed, he said, and Jamal could see it, the flicker of sincerity that compelled him to stand there, vulnerable. Jamal, listening intently, decided now was the time to step in. Look, he said, his voice steady, we're just trying to protect Amir. He's our priority. If you're serious about this, we need transparency. No secrets, no hidden agendas. Derek nodded, visibly relieved. I swear, I just want to be here for you. I can't change everything overnight, but I want a chance. Maya's voice quaked as she replied, I don't know if I can trust you. The past, it still feels too close. What if the old you comes back? As Derek searched her eyes, Jamal felt a tension rise, as if the air were thick enough to cut with a knife. He sensed the family bond at stake, the love and fear intertwined. Amir's presence felt like a fragile shield, and it only took a crack for the past to seep in. The moment hung heavy in the air. And just as Jamal was about to suggest they take a break, a shout pierced the stillness from inside. Maya! Jamal! Come quick! They exchanged frantic glances, dread flooding in. What now? Jamal's heart raced as he whispered to Maya, we need to check. Amir needs us. With a final, weighty look at Derek, they hurried toward the house, the haunting potential of their past now intertwining perilously with their present. What new danger awaited them inside? Maya and Jamal rushed into the living room, breathless and alert. The sudden call had pierced through the heaviness, igniting a sense of urgency that left little room for hesitation. Amir stood in the center of the room, his eyes wide with panic. Maya, it's the TV. He shouted, pointing to the glowing screen. The news anchor's voice was frantic, the words tumbling out in a rush. Breaking news. A series of robberies in the neighborhood has escalated. Authorities urge all residents to stay indoors. Maya's stomach dropped. The news she had feared crept into the corners of her mind. Danger was closer than she wanted to believe. She turned to Jamal, searching his face for reassurance. This can't be happening. It's just news. We'll be okay, Jamal murmured, his grip tightening on her hand. We need to keep Amir safe. Let's get the doors locked. Will they hurt us? Amir's voice trembled, bringing a rush of guilt crashing over Maya. She knelt beside him, brushing a hand through his hair. No, honey. We're going to be just fine. We'll protect each other. Always. Derek lingered in the doorway, watching the three of them. The family bond they shared felt fragile, yet fortified by their instinct to stand together against the outside world. He stepped inside and closed the door gently, his presence unwillingly threading into their moment. I can help, he said quietly, the weight of the situation finally grounding him. I know how to lock down a house. It's important we secure everything. Maya's heart raced as she regarded Derek. Trust was an elusive thing, especially now. Jamal hesitated, casting a glance at her. We don't even. We need his help right now, Maya whispered back, mind racing. She looked back at Derek, their eyes locking. Just, please. No sudden movements. We're not ready for your past to resurface today. Derek nodded solemnly. He moved with purpose, checking windows and doors as Maya clutched Amir close. The boy, while trying to mask his fear, was still scanning the room, searching for safety. As Derek worked, the news show continued blaring from the TV. More sirens echoed outside, wrapping the house in tension. Jamal couldn't fight the instinct to whisper a question to Maya. What if he's the one who brings this trouble to us? She bit her lip, struggling to vocalize her fears. I don't know. But I can't let Amir face this without us. We have to take a leap of faith. When Derek finished, he returned to them, breathless but focused. No one can get in. We've got to stay strong, he said, his voice steady. What happens if they come here? Amir asked, his little voice wavering. Maya took a deep breath, wanting to comfort him but unsure how to shield this innocent heart from the world's reality. We'll handle it together, she assured, tighter now in her embrace. A united front, Jamal added, glancing at Derek. Uncomfortable or not, they were all in this together. Derek's expression shifted as the solemnity of matters swirled around them. I can stay here. I can take care of whatever comes our way, I promise. Maya was struck by the sincerity in his eyes. Could she believe him? Was it possible that he was ready to step up? Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from somewhere beyond the front door, metal clashing against wood. The noise shattered the moment, as Amir gasped, gripping Maya's arm, fear flooding back into the room like a thick, suffocating fog. They all turned to Derek, every heart pounding in sync, questions brewing in the silence. What should we do? Jamal asked, voice strained. But Derek's answer was lost as the door rattled violently, a sound that made the hair on the back of Maya's neck stand up. The moment trembled with impending dread. "Here we go," Maya whispered, bracing herself against uncertainty. What lay behind the door could change everything. What if this was the test of trust she never expected? Maya's heart raced against her ribcage, each thud echoing in her ears like the pounding rain outside. The door rattled again, sending a shudder through her. She locked eyes with Jamal, uncertainty painted on his face, and Amir pressed closer, trembling under the weight of their situation. What was that noise? Amir's voice was barely a whisper, quivering with fear. Derek stepped forward, his brow furrowed with concentration. "Stay back," he instructed softly, his voice calm but firm. It was a stark contrast to the chaos that spiraled around them. The sounds from outside grew louder, a cacophony of shouts and the rhythmic pounding that didn't let up. "We need to hide," Jamal suggested, glancing towards the narrow hallway that led to the back of the house. "We can find a safer spot." Maya shook her head. "No. I want to leave Amir. We stick together." Before she could say more, Derek lunged towards the door. "I'll check it out," he said, steeling himself. Maya felt her stomach sink at the thought of him confronting whatever lay outside. "Wait. You can't just open the door," Jamal shouted, grabbing Derek's arm. The tension in the room thickened, but Derek shook his head. "I must. Trust me," he said sharply, a sense of determination in his eyes that both terrified and inspired her. Amir whimpered, and Maya knelt down to his level, brushing her fingers across his arm. "It's okay, sweetie. We're right here. Whatever happens, we're a family, and we won't let anything hurt us." As Derek steadied himself and grabbed the doorknob, a sudden crash sent shockwaves through the house. It was a sound that shook not just the walls, but the core of their resolve. The door jerked under the pressure, the wood splintering slightly. "Get behind me," Derek commanded with unexpected authority, his bravado surprising them all. Maya's heart skittered with unease as Jamal pulled Amir behind him, positioning himself protectively in front of Maya. She felt the urge to run and hide, but there was nowhere to go. The truth wrapped around her like a vice. They were cornered, with nowhere to escape. Derek hesitated for just a moment, casting a glance back at Maya. This was it. This was the moment that could either bind them together or tear them apart. With a swift turn, he flung the door open. The scene outside was chaotic. A group of masked figures surged in the street, illuminated by flickering streetlights. Derek took a step back, shock rippling across his face. "Don't move," one of the strangers shouted, brandishing what appeared to be a baseball bat. The sound of tires screeching and sirens wailing filled the air, creating a disorienting atmosphere of panic. Maya's blood ran cold. "Derek, get back inside." She pulled Amir closer, knowing instinctively that each second mattered. All around them, the neighborhood seemed to shift, the familiar had twisted into a nightmare. She could sense Jamal's worry as he held Amir firmly, ready to protect him at any cost. "I'm not going to let them take anything from us," Derek said, his voice steadying, the weight of his vow palpable. But what could he really do? In that moment, the question of trust squared on Maya's heart. Would he truly stand against whatever was coming for them, or was this just bravado to mask uncertainty and fear? Just then, Amir let out a small cry, pointing outside. "Look!" A car screeched to a halt right in front of their house, and from the door emerged someone that Maya recognized, a neighbor, a single mom. She was yelling something, frantically waving toward them. "Get inside! They're coming this way!" The panic surged again, a tidal wave threatening to drown them all in confusion. Maya knew that the soon-to-be collision between friendship and fear would demand an impossible choice. Would they stand together against the storm, or fracture in the heat of chaos? "Come on!" Derek's voice broke through, and they darted towards the door, adrenaline propelling them forward into the unknown. But what awaited them outside would not just test their trust, it would redefine all their lives forever. Would they emerge intact, or would darkness swallow them whole? The air felt thick with fear as Maya, Derek, Jamal, and Amir rushed through the doorway. The street's chaotic scene unfolded before them like a surreal nightmare. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows as masked figures moved purposefully, their shouts echoing in the darkness. Inside. Now. Derek urged. His voice cut through the chaos as he pointed toward the safety of the house. They stumbled in unison, a desperate rush toward shelter. Once inside, Derek slammed the door shut, locking it tight. The sound of the door clicking filled the silence, a brief moment of solace amidst the chaos outside. Maya's heart raced as she looked at Jamal and Amir, her body taut with tension. What do we do now? Jamal whispered, his eyes wide, fear etched across his face. Stay quiet, Derek said, pacing back toward the window. He peered out through the blinds, taking stock of what lay beyond. I can't see them clearly, but we need to be ready for anything. Maya couldn't shake the feeling of dread creeping into her bones. They had to stick together, but the storm outside bore down on their fragile unity. Turning to Amir, she brushed a lock of hair from his forehead. I'm here, buddy. Just stay close, she murmured softly, trying to mask her own fear. Amir nodded, but his eyes were wide and glistening with unshed tears. He clung to Jamal, seeking comfort in his presence. Derek moved away from the window, his hands clenched into fists. We might have to defend ourselves. If they break in, Maya interrupted, her heart pounding. Derek, we can't think like that. We need to stay calm. Before she could say more, a loud bang jolted them all, the sound reverberating through the house. Maya instinctively took a step back. The front door rattled as the masked figures began to pound on it, their voices muffled but filled with rage. Help! We need help! One voice shouted. It was desperate, echoing through the cracks of the door. Something twisted in Maya's stomach. They were close enough now that she could hear the urgency in the voice. Without realizing it, she took a step forward. What if they need help? She breathed, torn between fear and compassion. Are you serious? Derek shot back, panic creeping into his voice. They're not here for help. They're dangerous. But what if Maya, no. Jamal interrupted, grabbing her arm to pull her back toward him. We can't let emotion get in the way. We don't know what they're capable of. The banging continued, more insistent now. Just let us in. We're not going to hurt you. Amir whimpered softly, shaking his head. I want to go home. The words pierced through Maya like a knife. Home. A place that felt both safe and uncertain in that moment. If we don't do something, Derek trailed off, glancing at the door with wild eyes. Maya's right, Jamal said reluctantly, what if it's a trick, but what if his voice cracked, uncertainty curling in his gut. Before they could decide, a different voice broke through, calm and steady. If you don't let us in, you're putting everyone in danger. Maya's eyes widened. The voice sounded familiar. It was Mrs. Thompson, their neighbor. She had always been kind, always shared warm smiles. But was it truly her out there? Derek, Maya whispered, her heart pounding. That's Mrs. Thompson. If she's out there, we have to listen. No. Derek shouted, stepping back from the door. Don't forget what they could do. They are dangerous. Maya felt torn, her chest constricting with unsaid words and heavy tension. Could she trust Mrs. Thompson? In that moment of silence, Derek's determination crumbled just a bit as the weight of their choices pressed down on them all. The pounding intensified, sending their hopes swirling into the chaos. Suddenly, the loud sounds of sirens drew nearer, blaring through the night, overwhelming the threats outside. Maya dared to allow a flicker of hope to ignite within her. But before she could breathe, the door shuddered violently, a loud crack echoing through the hallway. Would they hold their ground, or would the night consume them? Maya, what do we do? Derek's voice cracked under the pressure. She felt the looming decision weigh heavy on her, a choice between the warmth of humanity and the fear of the unknown. Would she dare open the door and face whatever lay beyond? With her heart in her throat, she turned toward the door, every ounce of strength gathering within her. With her heart pounding loudly in her chest, Maya stood before the door, its wood trembling with the violent force of the masked strangers outside. For so long, she had run from fear and hurt, but now, with the lives of her son and Jamal entwined in this moment, she could either continue fleeing or face whatever lay beyond. "Mommy, please. I don't want them to get in," Amir pleaded, his small frame shaking as he clung to Jamal, his eyes wide with terror. The desperation in his voice wove a knot of resolve within her. "Maya," Derek urged, stepping closer to her side. "Think about what could be waiting for you. We can't allow them in." His voice held a blend of fear and determination, reflecting the frantic atmosphere tightening around them. "I know," Maya responded, her eyes soft but resolute, "but I can't ignore her voice. If there's a chance it's a trick." Derek insisted. "You know that." Maya turned to Derek, her eyes searching his, driven by an overwhelming need to believe that kindness might prevail, even in the midst of chaos. "What if it's Mrs. Thompson? She's always been there for us. We can't shut the door on help when it's right in front of us." Just then, the door rattled again, and the voice outside became louder, more urgent. "Maya. It's Mrs. Thompson. You have to let us in. They're not just after you, they're after everyone." The fear coursing through her felt ratcheted up tenfold. Shouts and yells from the masked figures echoed in the distance, the world outside inciting panic. She thought of Amir, of all the dreams she had hoped to build for him and for her and Jamal too. What if we opened the door and they are genuinely in trouble? Maya felt a sharp tug of compassion countering her apprehensions. What if they only need shelter for a moment? "Maya, you can't. Think rationally. Just because you can hear her doesn't mean she is safe." Derek pressed, his alarm magnifying, torn between Derek's warnings and her instinct. Her heart broke a little further as she searched for the right words to articulate her resolve. But just then, she felt Jamal's solid presence beside her. He took her hand, a comfort that anchored her in the storm. "Whatever you decide, I am with you. Always," he said softly, his steady gaze meeting hers as if urging her to trust herself. In that profound moment, she realized that even amidst all the instability, she had built a resilience in her heart, a blend of love and hope. "Okay," she said, turning toward Derek. "But we will not let anyone in unless we feel safe." He sighed, understanding dawning on him as they glanced at Amir, who was now watching them both, his little heart caught in the battle between safety and compassion. With a sudden determination, Maya positioned herself in front of the door and took a deep, grounding breath. "If you are truly Mrs. Thompson, I will open this door, but only on my terms," she called out, her voice steady, echoing in the silence. "Please. I promise you, we don't want any trouble. Just help me." Mrs. Thompson's voice cracked like the tension in the air, with her heartbeat echoing in her ears. Maya grabbed the door handle, feeling Jamal's warmth at her back. This was a moment she could channel not just forward momentum, but meaning. Slowly she turned the knob, glancing back at Jamal and Derek, who both held their breath. She felt her world wobble, her heart gambling forward. With a tiny squeak, the door creaked open, just a sliver, revealing a glimpse of Mrs. Thompson, her face lined with fear and urgency. "Maya. Please." Her neighbor's trembling lips conveyed panic but also sincerity. "They're coming for all of us. We need to get inside." Before she could second-guess her emotions, her heart made the choice for her. She flung the door open, relief washing over as Mrs. Thompson rushed in, her eyes darting. "We need to hide now. They've already attacked homes on this street. Lock the door swiftly." With that demand echoing in her mind, Maya turned back, wishing for certainty, a moment to regroup amidst calamity. They slid the heavy lock into place as dread gnawed at their heels, but for the first time tonight, as chaos spilled around them, they were no longer alone. "I can help defend the house," Derek proclaimed, a fierce fire igniting in his eyes as he stepped forward again. But we must work together. Amir flinched, but Jamal drew him in closer, shielding him. Stay near me, buddy, he soothed, his voice a lifeline, joined in purpose. They huddled near the kitchen, the sharp sounds of disturbances outside rising like thunder. Whatever is coming, we face together as a family, Jamal declared, his arm draping protectively around Amir and Maya. As they steeled themselves for whatever storm awaited them, the meaning of community, trust, and family took root in their hearts. They were no longer compartmentalized by fear or past scars, they were intertwined in a renewed promise for the future. Together, they would draw strength from vulnerability, and whatever happened next, they knew they wouldn't face it alone. In this moment, they understood something powerful: the only way out of fear was forward together, hearts intertwined, ready to redefine their stories with courage. As the thunder grew louder outside, it became clear the battle they faced next would not just be for survival, but for their very souls. With that unyielding bond pulsing within them, they were ready. And with hands tightly grasping one another, as the shadows of uncertainty swirled, a light flickered anew within their resolved hearts. Now it was time for action, for fear to yield to courage, as hope lingered just beyond the threshold of that door which held their future. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to take action. Don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through your response.